Keith's an amazing guy.
What is up? It is Red, the Rideshare Ginger, coming right back at you. It's been a couple of weeks since a video like before, and just kind of chilling here, but it's tough to make videos when I'm not really working or doing anything. I mean, it's easy to make videos, but I don't have a whole lot to talk about if I'm not working. But on my video where I'm giving away the money, Antonio Rodriguez had a pretty solid question. It's kind of, where do I see the future of rideshare going? And haven't thought about this before video, and maybe I should have. So we're just gonna kind of spitball a little bit here, but let's envision 2 to 3 years, maybe even 5 years down the road. And I'm one of the people that do firmly believe at some point it will be dominated by autonomous vehicles. Now, here's the thing. I think coronavirus is playing a little bit of a role in where rideshare is going, because I mean, pool rides, I don't see those coming back for a while, at least a year, maybe more than a year. But I mean, that could even push a little bit the need for autonomous vehicles. I mean, if you don't have anyone in there with you, then I mean, the threat for spreading is a little bit less, but the bigger concern then would be who's disinfecting the vehicle between rides. So you do have the concerns overall, and I don't know if that's going to make a strong push anyways. I mean, you can't move along technology quicker than what it's going to move. But earlier this year, I'm pretty sure it was February, I think it was Q1, Lyft announced that they were going to do a pretty good sized testing in 2 different areas. I think it was somewhere in California and as well as Arizona for their autonomous vehicles again. And this was after they went public and everything, and I'm pretty sure it was Q1 this year. So they're testing it. I have not looked to see how that's gone, and maybe that's because it's gone poorly. Who knows? Not positive. But if that's going well, then they're just going to slowly expand that and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bring it to different cities. And there's the biggest thing that I think is the toughest, that's one of the tougher things, is a point someone made to me a long time ago, is like, you're driving down the street in Chicago and a big box truck pulls out of an alley and is like blocking your view of a pedestrian behind that box truck. So you got box truck basically sitting out a little bit, but you're able to get around it. No issues with that, but there's a pedestrian walking past that. How does an autonomous vehicle adapt to that? And that's not the only situation. Sorry, drink just fell off the table, but that's not the only situation that is an issue. But that one's like a big one to me. Like, when things are, because I mean, the number of times I'm driving and like you do have a big box truck or something blocking the view behind what's behind it, like people crossing a road, it can be dangerous. And if no one's behind the vehicle, is the vehicle going to naturally slow down if it doesn't see anything? Or is it just going to keep driving because it assumes it's fine because there's no movement coming across? Those are kind of the questions that I think are going to have to be answered and figure out. And maybe it's as simple as like box truck in the way, you can't see, that vehicle slows down to 5 miles an hour so it can interpret the situation and things are a little bit safer or something. Who knows? But I do think long term that's the route we're going to go. And one of the main reasons I fully believe this is I used to do financial advising and insurance sales, and I worked for a company that did auto insurance, and this was back in 2015, but they were trying to prep people to prepare their books of business, because the way auto insurance works at a lot of companies is your business is based on renewals and how much money you're making. Well, when autonomous vehicles get into place, insurance premiums are going to drop way down because there should be less accidents, less issues in the long term. And so they're prepping people to, change their books up so it's not hugely based on auto insurance because of the prep for autonomous vehicles coming. This was in 2015, and they were projecting, I think, 2025 that they were going to start seeing impacts within their books due to the safer vehicles and things like that. So I think by 2025 is when you're going to see, more autonomous vehicles than regular drivers. I think you're probably going to see maybe 2030 is when it's, basically all autonomous drivers. And I'm sure they'll roll it out in features where, on your app, you get to choose whether or not you want an autonomous vehicle or you wanted real driver. But I think a lot of people are going to be more comfortable in the long run once they get used to it of having no driver. And there'll be those people that will never be comfortable with it. And if it's a large portion, then you'll always have some sort of drivers. But at some point it's going to phase out that way. So that's kind of where I see the future of rideshare going. But as far as, I guess, the next year, 2 years, I don't see rideshare changing that drastically. I think pool rides are gone, so that changes things. And I think there's going to be less drivers out there because I think some people didn't survive coronavirus in the sense of their business didn't survive. Not that they didn't survive, like their business didn't survive and they couldn't sustain themselves through coronavirus. So they went and found real jobs outside of rideshare. And this is my full-time job, don't get me wrong, but I still don't consider it a quote unquote real job. So when I'm talking real jobs, people go and get, your typical 9 to 5, 40 hours a week and consistent pay because it's something they can rely on. And rideshare isn't something you can rely on. So I think we probably lost a lot of drivers in that sense. And so I think the money will actually go up over the next year, and it'll probably climb up. We'll see it plateau a little bit and then it'll dip again because people will start talking about, oh shit, I'm making a ton of money, and you'll get more drivers into the system again. So I don't think it's going to last forever, but if you go take a look out there right now, there's a lot of money being made by people that are out there. And when that $600, when the extra unemployment runs out, I think you're going to see a lot more drivers back on the road, but you're also going to see a lot more riders back on the road because people are going back to work, not just the drivers, but people with regular jobs and things like that. So I think over the next year, you will see an increase in pay over what you were seeing, let's say January of this year, and which is good because we were on a decrease. Everything was going down over time. So I think we'll pick it back up. Things will increase. And then probably a year and a half, it'll plateau and it'll start dipping again. And then around then, we'll start seeing the autonomous vehicles come into play. So that's a good question, and just kind of spitballing the answers off the top of my head. So I probably missed something as to what I think is going to go on. But I think it was a solid question. Wanted to get that answer out there. And go check out my video where I say I'm giving away $300 because we still got a chance to give away that full $300. So go take a look at the rules for that and everything and get yourself entered into that. But I will probably video 2 or 3 other videos today. So you'll see me sitting here like this, sweating my ass off in the sun. And we'll get those videos done and I'll get them posted throughout the course of the week. Not sure exactly what I'm going to talk about, but I feel I owe you guys some content and things, and we'll just kind of go from there. But I guess the only thing I'll tell you about is 2 things you should go take a look at from me. Is I started a vlog channel. It's not that great. It's not that interesting, but the link will be in the description for that. And then my TikTok's been kind of popping off, so I'll put the link in the description for that as well if you're a TikTok user and whatnot. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for commenting. And as always, thank you.